I saw one of Hormozi's ads. Got on the phone. Layla was the one that
No
was
way.
setting for
What
Alex
year?
at the time. It was like $16,000, and I had not $16,000, so I put it on I put it on a credit card.
What was the key things that happened during that time? Like, you know, what were you doing at the 100K a month level, 200K a month level, to then the, you know, million, 2 million a month level?
Yeah, profitability wise at 26 was not much different than 50.
But yeah,
Yeah.
way more headaches.
Yeah, way more headaches.
What are the KPIs on your marketing right now? Like, how much are you guys spending? What do you
Yeah,
think?
we spend about 25,000 a day for men, and
I'm really excited for today's podcast because this guy has built a company in 5 years that is already doing over $50 million a year in the fitness space, which I might add is probably the toughest space I've ever seen for marketing and helping people and everything else. So I'm really excited to see how he did it and how you can grow a business that quickly. I've got John Madsen. What's up, man?
how you doing, man? Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I've got my bald co-host, Brian DeVilla. What's up?
There we go. What up?
Love it.
You know, we haven't had a big digital kind of guy on in a while. We've had like all these blue collar guys on and everything else talking about roofs and HVACs and
Yeah.
HVAC. So it's cool to get back into the digital space, especially seeing like, dude, your ads are just everywhere.
Yeah.
That's number one. And I think they're very polarizing for a lot of people. Like where did you even learn to do this? Because you're like, dude, if you don't make 150K, freaking, you can't work with us.
Yeah. Yeah. So way back when I started, obviously I was marketing like a lot of people, right? You want high quality leads because they have to be able to afford the program at the end of the day.
Right.
And so we do what most people did. And, you know, there's a question in the application that would try to financially qualify. But after just getting crushed for a couple of months, my sales team, you know, my sales head of sales never wanted to complain about leads, but he's like, John, like these, you know, these guys can't
They
afford it. Man. So I'm like, I'm going to get back on the call, you know? So I put myself back on the calendar, and after 10 calls, I'm like, bro, like, I don't even want to sell this person because they're going to take their money. They need to buy food too, you know? So
Yeah.
something's wrong in the marketing. And, one of the media buyers I was working with, he's like, what's an amount of money that if a person was making that it would be likely that they could afford the program? I'm like, well, if someone's making 150K, they could do it if they wanted to.
Right.
Maybe, right? And he's like, what if we just make an ad that says, if you make at least 150K, I'll get you ripped. And I was like, that's stupid, bro. Like, that's not going to work. And but we reached a point where, you know, every application was just like, they couldn't afford it. And so I'm like, I have nothing to lose. I'm just going to go out there. I grab my phone. I'm like, look, if you guys make at least 150K, I'll get you ripped. If it doesn't work, I'll give you your money back. It was as simple as that from an ad standpoint. And it was so polarizing. And in me making it, I didn't even think that it would have been. I just thought I was being super direct and people would appreciate it. But instantly just the comments start rolling in and people hated me, and they were like, they thought I was saying that poor people couldn't get fit, which, you know, I'm like, if you have a high IQ, you understand that I'm not saying poor people can't get fit. They're just not my customer.
Right.
And so I think most people would have backed off, and I just kind of leaned straight into it and then made it a thing.
Yeah.
And overnight our lead quality was just epic. It was epic when I started to qualify from the messaging standpoint, not letting that qualification only be in the application. So
Right.
that was like the spark in the messaging that kind of changed the trajectory of us being able to attract high quality leads on demand.
What were you guys doing at that point, business wise? And when was that? When you came through that breakthrough?
That was we were probably doing, you know, 2.5 million a year, and you know, 200, 300K a month. And we just got stuck. We were stuck there for a good 12 to 18 month period where, you know, it was working. The message that I initially came out was like, you know, presupposing that someone was successful, but not blatantly saying it. But then everybody started to do it. And then we just kind of blended in and got stuck for about 12 to 18 months.
And then you just got fed up and you're like, I'm just going to call out the exact person I want.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I've experienced the same thing with my golf mastermind, M19. You have to be making over 7 figures to even be in it.
Right.
And so like there's a qualification. And the first ads I did were fine. And I was just like, hey, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to golf, you know, click here. We go on bucket list trips, all this stuff. Then I started adding in to the messaging. I was like, hey, if you make over 7, 8, or 9 figures in your business and you want to be around other 7, 8, and 9-figure entrepreneurs, this is for you. And dude, the comment people were pissed. They're like, I can go golf these places for free. Why do I got to pay all this money to go play Pebble Beach with you? I can just play it for free. And I'm like, gosh, you don't get it. They were mad.
Get so mad. It's almost like, you go to the club and there's the red ropes.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't get in. You got to wait in line. And then someone walks in and, walks right in. It's like people hate to have that red rope and not have access. And so, yeah, man, I completely get it. It's almost like it's a trigger for a lot of people.
Yeah, because they're not there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll talk about like where the business is today and stuff like that. But you used to play in the NFL and, you were an athlete and all those things. Like, tell me about how that was and then how you even got into the space.
Yeah. So, I mean, real quick backstory. If anybody asked me what I wanted to do when I grew up, 5, 6, 7 years old, professional athlete was it. Like my earliest memory was like on the field, on the court, on the diamond, playing ball. And I played it all: basketball, football, baseball. I did tennis. Like that was my life. Going into high school, I was going to go out for the football team, had played since I was 10 years old. But the first thing that we had to do was go through summer conditioning. You essentially made it through summer conditioning. They gave you a jersey, they gave you a helmet, you're on the team. And the very first day I went into summer conditioning, we went into the weight room. And so I'd never been in the weight room before. And the strength coach is like, you guys are going to you're going to max out on bench press, squat, deadlift, and power clean. I'm like, okay, like those other 3 look dangerous. Let's go over to the back of the corner and see what we can do on the bench press. So me and 5 of my friends walked back there and we threw 25-pound plates on. And one by one, we started to warm up. Well, it got to my turn, 95 pounds on the bar. My friend lifted the bar off the bench. And as soon as he let go of the bar, it comes crashing down on my chest. Like I couldn't lift it.
Damn.
And in that moment, I realized like, bro, like I'm scrawny and I'm the weakest kid in this class. I'm going to get killed out there in football. So I slid out from underneath the bench press and I made a decision that I wasn't going to play football for the first time since I was 10. And I went home, told my dad, I'm like, Dad, like I got crushed at 95 pounds. It was embarrassing. Like, I think my sternum's broken. And, can you help me get strong? And so he took me down to the rec center and signed me up with this personal trainer who was like this big, like power lifter, not tall, just like 5'7", mean and big. And for 3 years, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m., I'd work out with this dude named Mike. I never touched I never touched the grass on a high school football field in a game. I never played high school football. I decided that I was going to go pro in basketball or baseball because those were my 2 sports I played in high school. But at high school graduation, basketball, we went 1-39. So like we won 1 game in 2 years. So there was no getting recruited. We were terrible.
Were you at least the best person on a terrible team?
Yeah, I was one of the best people, but nobody.
I know.
And so
that's 6'5".
Yeah. So I had an academic scholarship at a small junior college, 90 minutes outside of Salt Lake City. And I told my dad, I'm like, I'm going to try out I'm going to just walk onto the basketball team. So I took a basketball highlight VHS registration. We went there, knocked on the coach's door, said, hey, I'd like to walk onto the basketball team. And he's like, look, son, I don't know if you can play or not play, but my roster's full. And if you want to play college basketball, I highly recommend you go somewhere else and try. And I'm like, there's nowhere else to go. Like I'm enrolled at this junior college. I have to play here. And my dad's like, what you going to do? And I'm like, let's go talk to the football coaches. I just had this like, go talk to the football coaches, like this voice. And I went and knocked on the football coach's office with a basketball film of me playing, highlight film of me playing basketball. They looked at me and I'm like, look, I haven't played football in high school, but I want a chance. And all I'm asking for is a shot. They looked at me like I was crazy. They took the VHS film, they put it in. They seen me, do a couple 360 dunks. At this point, I'm like 6'5", super skinny still, about 185 pounds. And they're like, look, tryouts are at the end of July. We'll you can try out. Can't promise you anything. And that was my shot. And so I walked on, made the team, played there. I redshirted that year, played my freshman year, and then transferred to the University of Utah and played for Urban Meyer. Alex Smith was the quarterback. We won the Fiesta Bowl. And my senior year, I break my leg, can't run for 12 months, go undrafted to Oakland, and was the only undrafted guy to make opening day roster, and played there for 3 years. And so went from this guy who never played high school football to achieving that professional athlete dream, and got to live it for 3 years. So yeah.
How did you pick it up so fast?
I think football is one of those sports where it's not skill dependent. Like, hitting a curveball is, you gotta do that for
Ever.
You can't take 3 years off and then try to make Major League Baseball. Basketball too, it's a lot of skill, obviously a lot of athleticism. Football is a weird game in that there's different positions. If you're prototype height, prototype speed, you can, you're an athlete. Catching a football and learning that part was easy. It was the physicality of it that was kind of difficult, right? Like, you're not used to getting hit in high school. Now all of a sudden, in college, they're big, strong dudes. And then you go to the NFL and it's a different game. So in college, I was a wide receiver. I wasn't even a tight end. When I got to Oakland, they said, if you're going to make this team, you're going to do it at tight end. So going from wide receiver to tight end, that's a completely different deal, especially back then. Now I'm in 3-point stance.
Blocking.
I never learned how to block in college.
Receiver.
Right? And so now I'm learning against the best of the best. These dudes, like, bro, like, you go to the locker room and you got grown men who are 270 pounds. They got their shirts off and they got 6-packs.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And so, I tried my best to learn that position, but eventually I got cut because I couldn't block. I was like, that was not my deal. So
who'd you play against? Who were some of the big guys you played against?
Oh man, bro. Like, I mean, my first game was against the Ravens.
Oh, damn.
And
is that Ray Lewis?
Ray Lewis.
Yeah, bro. And so it was I'll never forget this because the first game was actually a Monday night game against the Chargers when Sean Merriman was there, and I rolled my ankle, so I didn't dress that game.
Yeah.
So
Merriman's been on here.
Yeah, the next game is against the Ravens, and they're like, "You're dressing, you're gonna play." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I'm like all jacked up. I call my dad. He flies to Baltimore to see this first game, and during the warm-ups, and then when they announce the team, when you're in Baltimore, it's always the defense.
Yeah.
And so they announce everybody, Ed Reed, and they had a lot of stars on that team, but Ray Lewis obviously is the last guy that gets announced. Fireworks go off, jets fly over the stadium.
Dude,
Ray Lewis is doing his thing, bro, like grabbing the grass and down in his chest. And I'm like, bro, like, I'll be ready next week. It's like, I'm on the sideline just
like, I feel sick.
Like, yeah, bro, like, I don't know about this. And so one of the very first plays, our running back, Justin Fargas, gets knocked into our own sideline by Ray. And like, just everybody scatters. There's all the Raiders around, and Ray Lewis is just, mother effing everybody on the sideline wanting to fight. And I'm like, dude, this is crazy. Because as a kid, I would watch this guy. He was probably 11 years into the league at this time. I'm like, that's a grown man, bro. I'm still a kid. Yeah. So that was my first experience. But I played against Ray. I played against, essentially 3 years. You play against
all these guys.
Sean Merriman.
Oh, that's
just beast, bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I've had Sean on the show, and then Von Miller, and we were playing golf together too with Von. But it's just like, you see these guys in person, and it's like, oh my gosh, this guy wants to kill you.
Yeah.
And he can.
I don't know Sean, but I went to the little Dragon's Lair gym probably a year or two ago, and he was in there still, I'm like, bro, I was still getting after it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's crazy.
It's crazy, if people haven't seen like NFL guys like that in person, it is kind of shocking that, they are big dudes, bro. We'd go into like restaurants with the tight ends group in Oakland. There's 3 tight ends, and, everybody's 6'5", 240, 250, 260. And it's shocking to people when it's like, that's just how it is at that level.
Yeah. You can't play the position if you don't. And I agree. It's like, it's a I saw they drafted a guy this year that never has played.
Mm.
He was just some dude from Africa, but
Mm.
this dude is like a specimen.
Yeah.
And they were like, bro, he's never touched a football, but it's all good.
Yeah.
We think we can.
teach him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what's
Like,
weird
no
about
sport
football.
ever is that a thing.
Exactly. In football, it might work.
It might work.
Yeah.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying this episode, but how would you like to be the one that I'm interviewing on this show? I'm looking for entrepreneurs who've got a great message to share, who have an inspiring story, and who can add value to the audience. So submit by going to wealthyway.com.
How was it like playing in the NFL with like the training and like the recovery? Like how did all that work?
I was 2006, 2007, 2008, a little bit in 2009. And it's interesting because now I'm in the world of performance, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you're a CEO and you want a performance team with nutrition and fitness and concierge medical. And
Yeah.
we put together a team for you.
Mhm.
And in the NFL, like you could go search that, but in the actual organization,
Mhm.
it was actually not as dialed in as people think. It was
Really?
like, the cafeteria in Oakland was probably the worst out of anybody in the league. Like we're eating grilled cheese sandwiches before practice.
Wow.
When I went to, they're
Grilled
bringing
cheese
in
and Dr. Pepper.
terrible food.
Yeah.
Before games, like people are loading spaghetti and, whatever, bro. And eating cookies.
Yeah.
When I went to Cleveland, they at least had a cafeteria where they had a green light, yellow light, red light system to where if you needed to lose weight, you don't touch foods that are red light or yellow light. You can only eat green. They tried to make it, somewhat healthy, but even then it's like the nutrition people that they brought in, it's like I always needed to gain weight. They're like, you need to put weight on. I'm like, how? Just eat more food. Have this protein shake. It's like,
Just
yeah, it's like I didn't learn anything,
Dang.
Like now I think they've evolved, but
Yeah.
like even back to 2010, like it wasn't as evolved as I think a lot of people would imagine.
Wow.
No. I mean, I got drafted in 2010 to Oakland, but for the A's. And I remember, also the A's were really cheap too,
Yeah.
compared to other organizations. And yeah, dude, every game we would have a PB&J. That I'm not kidding. That was our freaking meal.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, like we can't get like a can of chicken or tuna. Like what?
Yeah.
Like we're literally eating PB&Js.
Wow.
And it's like, yeah, if you want to get like some protein and stuff, you're on your own. Go buy a protein shake. Buy a protein. Like that's what it was.
Wow.
Even in spring training when we'd be with the big leaguers and stuff, there was still nothing.
Dang.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah. I think I'd imagine now it's a little better and
Yeah.
people probably even, we're in the performance world right now.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a lot of access out there, but yeah, man, I mean, some of these guys, they're just, I remember one of the guys, I'll never forget, we used to get measured our body fat percentage and with a bod pod was, now they have DEXAs and better stuff. But this dude would get in the bod pod and be 4% body fat, and he'd come in the locker room every day with McDonald's. Like,
Yeah.
it didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
Yeah.
So like, there's a genetic component to the best athletes in the world. They can almost eat, some of them, whatever they want,
Yeah.
and still be, top 1% in the world.
Yep. Like
For
Chad
sure.
Yeah.
Ochocinco
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah. So obviously, you play for a few years. I mean, you're not getting rich playing for a few years doing that. So what ends up happening?
Yeah, made essentially over that 3-year period, 1.2 million in earnings. And living in California, half of it went to taxes.
Yeah.
So I
Still
remember-
poor.
I remember the day though, when I got cut, I swiped my ATM card and there was like $330,000 in there. And from where I came from, very, very middle class. My dad's my best friend in the world. He drove a truck from the time he was 18 and retired at 50. It's like $330,000 seemed like a lot of money to me. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to buy a house. So 100 grand went down on a house. And then I'm like, I'm going to start a gym. 100 grand went into equipment for a gym. So that's what I did in 2010. I opened up a sports performance gym in Salt Lake City. And then I had $100,000 for my lifestyle and to fund the gym.
Yeah.
And very quickly I realized that I knew nothing about business. I had no idea how to get people in the door. And there was a countdown, every single month. I'm like, I got about 10 months left and I'm going to go broke. And that was my biggest fear in the world because I was like, bro, like I'm going to be one of those guys that's like, I'm the guy who never played high school football to making it to then a couple years later being broke. Like, and I was afraid. And, 6 months, 5 months, 4 months. Finally, one night I wake up in a panic. I'm like, I got to shut the gym down. Like I gotta, call my dad, call a couple friends. I'm like, they're gonna lock me out because I can't pay rent, and I have 3 more years on this lease. We got to get this equipment out so I can sell it so that I can eat. And so on a Friday night, we took all the equipment out. I sold it, and I remember the day I was driving in my Chrysler 300, that those fake Bentleys.
Yeah,
back
yeah,
in the
yeah.
day.
Hell yeah.
I dressed it up, kind of looked like a fake Bentley.
Get some spinners.
Yeah, and I'm
I saw
driving,
one yesterday.
and that was the day that the bank account hit zero.
Wow.
So and I'll never forget the weight kind of lifting off of me and be like, bro, I'm still breathing. I'm alive. And I just built back. I leased space from a friend's gym for about 10 months, saved enough money, bought a little warehouse style gym. I would have kids driving 3 hours to train at this gym. It was like Rocky. Weights were rusty, music was loud, chalk everywhere.
So you lost the other gym.
I lost the other gym.
in.
Yep, I lost the other gym, and then I just built from little warehouse gym to a bigger warehouse gym to eventually, 10,000 square foot gym, and it was not like a membership style. It was just all high school athletes, and then I would do combine training. Agents would pay me to train train their guys for the combine, and that's how I built it back up until 2020, when I wanted to go online because the lifestyle in the gym was just not giving me the lifestyle that I really wanted.
Yeah.
Mm.
I kind of realized that when I would train at this place out here in Vegas called PSI.
Yeah.
And so they would do the combine training for guys and all this stuff. And I remember even as a 21, 22, 23-year-old training in the off seasons, I'm like, man, this doesn't make very much money. Just I'm doing the math,
Yeah.
seeing, okay, you're training a group of 4 people. What are these guys paying? They haven't been paid yet.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get drafted.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a tough business.
It was tough, bro. It was some of the most fun I've had. There's still a couple guys that I trained. I got them when they were in 8th grade, and they're still playing in the league, 10 years in the league now.
Wow.
And so that was fun. I got to do something and really, I wanted to be an expert at what I did. And so I got the fulfillment out of that part of my life. But my daughter was born in 2018. My wife was working her face off. And I was like, this isn't it. I got to be able to provide a much better life. And that's where I first got introduced to, I saw one of Hormozi's ads. He was walking around selfie style, and he's like, I'm in the middle of Baltimore, and this gym just made, X amount of dollars. And I was like, who is this guy? I started watching his little deal. I ended up, filling out an application, got on the phone. Layla was the one that was setting for Alex at the time.
What year was this?
This was 2017. And
Dang.
so I
She was a setter.
I didn't even train General Pop at that time. But I'm like, I need General Pop because when sports go into season, I just have no money.
You have no one there.
No money. And so it was like $16,000, and I had not $16,000. So I put it on a credit card. And I'm like, just give me this stuff today. I'm like, if I pay, give me this stuff today, and I'll figure out how to launch, because I don't have time. I don't have time. I'm going to have to make this money back.
Wow.
And I remember not telling my wife about it. And I'm like, if she finds out, bro, this is the last straw.
We just had a kid.
Yeah. We were putting Tony Robbins, UPW, and stuff on credit cards. I was wanting to grow, right? And I was willing to do anything, but I'm like, this is the last straw. If this doesn't work out, I'm done. And they had the business in a box back there in Gym Lunch. Was they had run Alex ads to men, run Layla ads to women. So then I just had to learn how to set it up in the Facebook ads manager.
And bro, ads were so cheap back
cheap,
then.
bro. I remember $2 was stressing me out. $2 lead. What?
$2 lead.
Yeah.
Kill a man for $2.
And I started running. I started running immediately. And so I was running the women, and I got a text from my wife, Nineveh. She screenshots Layla's face, and it's this ad. And she's like, who the F is this? And I'm like, oh, she got targeted by my Facebook ad. Now I got to tell her what's going on.
Yeah.
So I'm like, babe, there's this program, they said that, they're going to teach me how to market. I'm going to do all this stuff. We're going to make our money. And she's just like, I'm going to kill you. Nice. And it worked, though. It worked so
wait,
shout out to Alex.
Wait, so Layla was the ad.
Layla, they had videos where
you were allowed to license their presence and just use it.
Exactly.
So you would run ads of Alex
Yep.
in your city.
And the issue was, like, it worked so good for a year, bro. Like, it was so good. Like, it was like running the 6-week challenge. I remember the first one I ran, I made like 15 sales in a day for $500 and $500 each. And I was like, this is crazy, bro. Like, this is so crazy. And we just started ripping these 6-week challenges like it was a drug. Like, one ended and we'll just keep doing it.
Yeah.
But the problem was the market got saturated so fast.
Because they sold so many people.
Now, like, I went from the only one in Salt Lake City doing it to like there's 10 other gyms running the same exact ads. So people were coming in and they're like, how are you different than this person? Like, I saw this ad and like they're getting confused.
Yeah.
And
The guy with the mustache.
Yeah. So he's like, he's everywhere. And so it worked very well until the saturation kind of shook everybody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I didn't realize that. I thought they were giving templates back then and you would make them, but that's like what I've done for the real estate ads. Like I had this idea years ago. I was like, dude, I already know how to make the ads. Getting people to make ads is hard. I'll just run my ads in everyone's market and they'll get the leads. But the only reason it worked is because they would just get leads for people wanting to sell their home versus like you're trying to get them to different gyms and now it's causing because it's going to that landing page and there's like so much confusion.
And there was a gym craze too. Like, everybody was opening up gyms. So it's like, you know, you had, you know, fit body boot camps going up. Like, there was just
the
micro gym back in 2016, 17, 18. Like, everyone was building a gym, CrossFit gyms. So it's like there's gyms across the street. And then everybody, whether it was CrossFit gym or fit body boot camp or a sports performance gym, we're all running the same ads. Layla, Alex, and, you know, just ripping this 6-week challenge.
So what ended up happening?
I walked in the gym one day and I was like, the whole premise of the 6-week challenge was it was a free 6-week challenge. And so Alex's big idea was you run a free 6-week challenge. And so you got the cheapest leads in the world. You do group closes. So at 3 p.m., I'd have 15 people and I try to close them all at the same time. 4 p.m., another group would come in. And when they got there, you're like, if you lose 25 pounds, you get your money back.
Yeah.
So it's free. And then some people's like, that's not free. You know, I've got to pay you and then you get your money back. Well, I'm like, well, it is free. You do the work and you get get the result. Gave plenty of refunds. So that was like the 6-week challenge that everybody ran. But when you run ads like that, you get a bunch of people who are probably not your ideal customer.
Yeah.
So I remember after about a year of running this, walking into my office, walking through the gym and just having, like, I'm a strength and conditioning guy, you know, like I'm a real strength and conditioning guy.
Yeah.
And now we have a bunch of people who don't even want to be there doing the, just complaining that they got to touch a barbell.
Yeah.
And I'm like, these are not my people, bro.
It's like Planet Fitness people.
Yeah. I'm like, these are not these are just not my people. They're good people. They're just not my people.
Yeah.
And so I learned then that, like, if I ever was to build something, I was going to build something with the people who, like, I would want to invite over to my house. I would want a clientele base that, I liked so much that I would invite them over for a barbecue. And so that's where I learned, like, I got to be really careful with the messaging, because you can attract a lot of different people and a lot of different people can pay. But do you want to actually have a business with those people? Two different things.
Yeah.
Because especially in fitness and health, you don't want a bunch of whiny people. Like, it's not a babysitter club, and that's what we were essentially doing in the gym. We went from strength and conditioning gym to a babysitter's club. They hated it.
Dang.
Yeah. So you changed it all.
Changed it all. Yeah. So I started dabbling in online, because then Tanner Chittister was one of the first guys that was like, you can make $1 million training people online. I'm like, how does that even work? So I was one of his first clients, because I'm like, he's done it. I have this belief that if somebody's done it, that I can probably do it too. Right. And so I hired him, same thing, like paid his fee, and then learned how to set up, how I learned what virtual training could kind of look like. And I fell in love with the model because it felt like it would be freedom. So I was doing this gym thing, then I had, dabbling in this online thing for a couple years. The online thing was doing about 15K, 20K a month at a certain point. And I was like, I'm afraid to get rid of the gym, because that's, if I lose it, it's still paying the bills. But then COVID happened, and in Salt Lake City, they shut down the gym. Like they shut down all the gyms. And so at this time, I'm like, okay, I have no idea what this is going to be or how long. And so I made a video to all the members and I said, this gym is never opening back up.
Mm.
So if you guys want, you can come over to the online program. If you don't, I'll rip up your contract. And but this gym's never opening back up. 95% of people just ripped up their contract. I let go of the gym and I jumped straight into online very rapidly when I was focused on that. A couple months down the road, I think that was March when COVID started happening. The month of June, we hit our first 100K month. And I was like, oh, dude, like, I remember popping champagne. Like, bro, we made like, this is $1 million. Like, to me, that was still a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so we hit that. I moved to Scottsdale, July 1st, 2020. And
Why'd you move?
I was free. I was like, I was tied to the gym in Salt Lake City since 2010. I felt like I had to be there because the gym was there. This was like making 100K a month. I don't have to, I can live wherever I want. I would like to play golf. I like the weather. I'm tired of Salt Lake City. I was just home for a long time. And so we decided to move to Scottsdale, and that online business went from, hitting that first $1 million year. Then it went to like 2.5, 3.5. We were kind of stuck in that range. And then it just took off. 8, 26, 50.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you guys know I love the game of golf, and that is why I started M19. It is a golf mastermind for entrepreneurs who are doing over 7 figures in their business and who want to go on bucket list golf trips together. We already have hundreds of members all across the country, and we've been to some of the best courses in the world, places like Pebble Beach, Pinehurst, Bandon Dunes, and many others. The course is the best place to do deals, make great relationships, and have fun. So go to mastermind19.com today. What was the key things that happened during that time? Like, what were you doing at the 100K a month level, 200K a month level to then the, million, 2 million a month level?
Yeah. So I met my wife. She was a broadcast news anchor in Salt Lake City. And then when she was going to have our first baby, she got into corporate America shortly after. And so she was a VP in a tech company. And so she was like the breadwinner for a minute because the gym was not making as much money as she was making. She felt a lot of pressure. And so when we were about 2.5 million, or she's like, how much money are you making now? I'm like, babe, we're doing like 200, 300K a month. Like, you don't really have to work. Like, you don't have to work that hard anymore. She's like, oh, I need a break. So she gets out of the VP role, but then she's a bit like, she's a business whiz actually. And, so she starts asking me all these questions about the business, looking under the hood. What does this person do? What is this? And I'm like, they just do whatever I tell them.
Yeah. Like he's just cool.
Yeah,
what he does.
yeah. And so she's like,
jacked.
that's not how it works. Because in her other company, she saw them go from 2 million to over 50. So she was on that ride, and then she like just rose up in the company. And so she had a lot of understanding of like what was possible. So she's like, we got to build this thing for, like, at the time we were putting in 30, 40 new members a month. And she's like, we got to build this thing for like 400 a month. I'm like, are you crazy? Can we get to 100? Like, I can't even see a pathway to 400. So she starts building out the back end. And in the beginning, I'm like, you're just spending all the money. Like, you're like, this is crazy. Like,
we need to just spend it on ads.
Yeah, exactly.
Marketing.
Exactly.
We need clients.
So we were butting heads. And then like, so she built it so that it was able to, like, because when we popped. We went from 30 to 40 to well over 100. And then, for 2 years straight, we were putting in 300, 400 members a month.
Wow.
And so like, that was a crazy back end build. And the reason why I think that we done it is because I get to focus on what I'm great at. I'm great at messaging. I'm great at understanding lead generation and getting the ideal client, and I love sales. And so if I can focus on the revenue part, I can't focus on all the other stuff, like the customer journey. Like, it's got to be dialed in. Anybody that runs, there's a difference in business who gets a lot of their business from like referrals. There's a lot of trust there, right?
Yeah.
It's like you can fumble a little bit on the onboarding and stuff. When you're running straight cold traffic and someone gives you 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand, and they don't even know you, they didn't even know you a week ago, your stuff has got to be dialed in, or they're like, I want my money back. And so I had the bandwidth to just go build the revenue side while the rest of it was getting taken care of by someone who thinks like an engineer. Like every step of the way was like completely dialed in. And so it was kind of rocket fuel in the sense that we had both sides of the coin where, I can't do what she does. She doesn't want to do what I do. And it was a great, like, that's also what I think allowed us to scale like we've scaled.
So is she still doing that?
Yeah. She's CEO, actually. She's way better CEO than me. Way, way better.
What's your official title?
Founder. Yeah. I was
guy.
Yeah, I was CEO for a long time. I mean, I was given titles out like candy too, like I'm
You
one
want
of
to be a VP?
Yeah.
All right.
Call yourself whatever, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care if you call me janitor. Like, I don't care, but it was like she should have got the credit way before she was getting the credit because she was in the background building the stuff, right?
Yeah.
So she's a way better manager, way better at accountability. Like I have a hard time getting, fit into process and system. I'm a creative and I like to just run.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of people I've seen, it's like when you're trying to scale a business, obviously you need leads, then you got to convert leads, and then you got to basically fulfill the product, right? And I see a lot of people, especially many founders, maybe not in the digital space, but just in the normal space, where it's like they're so focused on operations and fulfillment, they just never can grow.
Yeah.
Because nobody can make it rain.
Yeah.
And then you get some really good rainmakers, and then they can't fulfill.
Exactly.
Because they're just focused on that. So, I mean, you guys had both dynamics, but I guess like for you, once you knew you had the back end dialed in with her, what did you do to just start growing it?
Once the messaging started happening, it would just double down, right? It's a math equation. So it's like in the beginning when we started popping off, it's like you can trade $1 for $10 on Meta. Like who's not going to do that? How much can we spend to get that 10x return? It's like money just rolling in because CAC was so cheap and nobody had gone to the market that bold that was just like saying as direct as possible. If you make this amount of money, I'll get you ripped, like just super direct.
Mm-hmm.
And then over time, obviously the message, it gets normalized and CAC goes up and leads get more expensive. But for me, it's always been like, look, if I can trade $3, if I can trade $1 and make it $3, I'm going to spend as much money as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And just ramp that up as fast as I possibly can without breaking the back end.
Yep.
And that's essentially what we've done. It's like once the math equation works, we just kept doubling down, tripling down, and kept trying to spend as much as we could until we got to a level that it's like we can't really spend anymore because the return isn't there.
Right.
And so once we hit that point, it's like that's kind of where you get stuck. I don't have a huge organic presence because I was like, what's the easiest way to make money? I felt like building an organic following was like more difficult.
Yeah,
I think it's more difficult.
It is
so I'm
hard.
like, I'm just going to study the lead gen. But now it's like organic is very important. That can help lower CAC. So it's like there's an effort to do more of the organic stuff where I wish I would have started 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I'm just going to focus on ads. And I just watched the ads that would work and then just iterate off of them. And I think a lot of people that get in, I think now it's hard, right? I mean, you're in real estate. So I kind of think of it like, when people could get into all the houses for no money down?
Yeah.
It's like, that's what
the 2 to 3% interest rates, everything.
That's what getting into the game 5 years ago felt like. Like cost per click was cheap, CPMs were cheap. There wasn't a whole lot of, people in the marketplace. I think it's very hard now, especially in most industries, but especially in health. It's like you get into the advertising game on Meta, it's going to be hard. People will put in 10 grand and lose it like that.
Yeah.
And it's like they never get back in the game because it's like it doesn't work. It works. It's just very hard.
Yeah, I realized too when we were messing around with it, like you're also competing not just with like digital marketers, but you're competing with like pharmaceutical companies, dude. Like when Hims and these guys are spending billions of dollars, dude, they're gonna drive prices up. It's crazy.
You're bidding in the real estate of the feed, right?
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter, whether it's another fitness coach. That's not even
that's not even the real competition.
Yeah,
it's those guys.
It is those guys. And then the psychology of, now you can take a pill and lose weight. It's like, a lot of people want to choose that path. So Now you got to convince people to do it in a way where they actually got to pay you money and then
work.
go to the gym and then,
Yeah.
you know,
That
eat the
sucks.
right food.
Why can't I just take GLP?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then the messaging has to really speak to them. You got to reframe them, right? It's like, you don't just want to lose weight. You want to be proud of yourself. It's like you take a pill and you lose weight and you lose all your muscle and you still look in the mirror and see a saggy, you know, skinnier version of yourself like that. You're not going to be proud of that.
Yeah.
And so you really got to start, you know, figuring out the messaging that's going to be like, he's right, you know?
What about
In today's real estate market, it is really difficult to find cash flow, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. For this reason, I'm a huge fan of wholesaling real estate right now specifically. It's the strategy that I'm using in my real estate investing business, and it's what all of our students at Wealthy Investor are doing as well. And we give you everything that you need to start your wholesaling business and have the same exact system that I have. You get the motivated seller leads, the same softwares, the same systems, processes, and one-on-one coaching and support. We'll show you step by step how you can get started today and get your first deal in 30 days or less. So go to wealthyinvestor.com today.
what are the KPIs on your marketing right now? Like how much are you guys spending? What do you
Yeah,
think?
we spend about 25,000 a day for men. And we try to keep our like my metric is cost per book call. If I take it one
Okay.
step further, it's how much should it cost for a person to show up to that call? Because
Right.
we know what the close rate's going to be. We know what's going to happen if someone shows up. So if you get into a pocket, you could get into this situation where your cost per book meeting is low,
Mhm.
but the show rate sucks
Yeah.
because they're not qualified, and then your cost per live show it sucks, and then everything else breaks. But for me, it's like I want to keep the bookings to $600, and you know, we got to fight for that now. Used
Yeah.
to be super easy, but if we do that and we're in a relatively good pocket,
Mhm.
you know, we know that we're going to be really profitable.
Mhm.
So, but there's been days where cost per book call goes up above $1,000.
Yeah.
It's like how many people can actually do that or are willing to do that?
Not many.
Not many, because if it costs that much, your program has to be,
More
you know,
expensive.
10
There's no
grand
other way.
at least,
Yeah.
right? And then it's like most people don't have the brand equity or the skills to close somebody on a $10,000 fitness program. So
Right.
the economics of it just doesn't work out for most people in
Right.
today's landscape.
It's like what Dan Kennedy says, like whoever can spend the most wins.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, if you can still be profitable at a $600 book call, other guys have no chance.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just, if you're charging $3-5 grand for your program, it's literally impossible.
Yeah. You can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
So you're just basically stuck on organic,
Yep.
which is what I see like most fitness coaches. Like it's pretty much, hey, we're going to run a fitness coach organic business.
Yeah.
If we can make 20, 50K a month, like we're square.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
and
what it
it's a
seems
grind,
like the majority do.
for sure. 100%. That's
Mm.
the only way. It's the only way.
Yeah,
So
because I don't see many guys running ads successfully in fitness as
No.
like coaches.
they'll reach out to me and they're like, how do you know, they want to know. And like, you know, I don't have a business which is helping other
Yeah,
fitness business. Like I'm a
Yeah.
competitor. I don't.
Those are the only guys I see doing good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do.
Is
They
the fitness
crush.
coaches, or no, the coaches who help fitness coaches.
Yeah.
It's you know, here's how you can make $100K a month. It's like, you know, that offer is easy to sell.
Yeah.
Right. But I can't think of a bigger grind to have to post that much content to hope that it works out organically.
Mhm.
I mean, good on those people who do it. That seems like a nightmare for me.
Yeah. What I realized was, so I started out basically the same time online as you during COVID, but I went the opposite route. I started making organic and I was like, I'm going to build a brand. And so, you know, we do organic and him and I were doing it. He was one of my first students. I was like, first year, make 700 grand just organically.
Mhm.
And I'm like, you know, dancing for the camera on TikTok, you know,
Yeah.
doing what you got to do.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we did 3.5 million the next year. Same thing, all organic. I was like, this is pretty, like, this is sick.
Yeah.
And then we did 10 million the next year and pretty much still like all organic.
Yeah,
Like, what do you think
mostly.
we spent?
Nothing, like maybe 200K.
Oh, that's epic, bro.
It was
That's
crazy.
epic.
And then I just started to notice that it was just getting harder,
Yeah.
harder. And then I was like, dude, we got to learn ads.
Yeah.
Like, we know nothing about CAC because
Yeah.
we don't have one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then eventually, like, you know, revenue declines and you got to like figure, and then the real estate market also turning
Yep.
made it really difficult.
Yeah.
And so then long story short, as it stands today, I spent like 2 years reinventing how I marketed and optimizing for paid. And it's funny because today people are like trying to build a brand. It's like the paid guys are trying to build a brand.
Yes.
And then the organic guys are trying to learn paid.
Yeah.
Because it's like you have to have both at this point. And what I've realized, even looking at all the businesses we have, it's like I still personally believe probably 80 to 90% of our revenue comes from paid, even though I have such a big organic presence, because it's like I don't want to be on organic just freaking pitching all day, every day, having people comment for guides and bull crap.
Yeah.
I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And I would rather people see my ad, start following, see I'm legit, and then make a choice to buy later.
Yeah. And that's how I look at it too. It's like the reach is going to be from paid.
Yeah.
And then a portion of those people are then going to go to the profile. Do I like this guy? What else is he about? Follow for a little bit, eventually buy, right? Or not. But yeah, man, I mean, same here. It's like that initial reach is definitely going to come from paid.
Yeah. It's hard to scale organic.
Yeah.
What makes you different than all the other fitness coaches when it comes to like marketing? Like, why are you successful and everyone else is struggling?
Well, especially since you don't even do content the way they
do. Yeah. I mean, you go to my page and like nothing is there. I'm not even really talking about fitness. I think that I'm so direct in the marketing, and like I'm speaking to guys. I get all my content from the country club, right? It's like I go to the country club, I see these guys wearing, $200,000 watches, and they can't tuck their golf shirt in. And I make a mental note of that, because they'll always comment on, you're in great shape, or, make,
it's weird comments. That you're in great shape.
Yeah. And I'm just like, man, I know that they care. On some level, they care, right? And so all the content is directed specifically for guys who are very affluent, who have this realization that they need to do something about their not just their health, they actually want to look a certain way, and they don't know that they can.
Yeah.
And so I just think that I market in a way that doesn't dance around for these guys. And the promise is I'm going to do it in the most efficient way. Like, I'm not trying to make them a bodybuilder. I know that their number one is business, and they're trying to make enough time for family. You work out with us. You don't need to work out 7 days a week for 2 hours. We will get you into elite shape. Give us 3 to 4 hours, and we're going to make it efficient for you. And we're going to have that coach that's there that is going to hold you accountable. And it's like, I just think most fitness people, they can't get into the marketplace because they don't have enough money to even, it's like you're going to need to have 100, 200 grand to just test before you even know if something works now. That's what I mean. Like back in the day, it was like 0% down house. Like I could test because it was cheap. You can't now.
Yeah.
So they can't even get in the game. And if they do, they lose that first 10K and they're like, I'm out. So
this doesn't work.
Done, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then you've got to have enough brand equity that the brand has to look a certain way, in my opinion, for them to be like, yeah, 10K. Like it's,
that makes sense.
It almost has. And that's what we've tried to do with Supra, is like, it's got to feel like Equinox in the digital world, right? Like people have to know that they're walking into a Porsche dealership. It's not just, it's not a Honda dealership.
So when you say brand equity, I mean, for you guys, obviously it's come from paid, not organic.
Yeah.
So do you think like your brand equity is just, hey, dude, people have been seeing my ads for years now, even if they haven't converted.
Yeah.
So like that's all this built up equity.
That, and then now we have miles and miles and miles of crazy transformations, right?
Yeah.
It's like the other great thing about selling high ticket fitness is if someone gives you 10 grand, they're usually pretty serious.
Yeah.
Like it's enough for them to be like, I'm going to take this serious. And that's half the battle, especially with guys who have a lot of money. It's like they pay $500, they're not going to do it. 10,000, they're like, well, I'm not going to waste this $10,000. So, the transformations are so epic. I think people have seen a lot of them. And then if they're like, I'm going to check the website out, or it's like there's a visual component to it.
Yeah.
To where I think that they can tell that it's not just an ordinary fitness coach.
How do you what I've seen, especially in the fitness space too, is like, being wary of testimonials for like FTC and stuff like that, especially with weight loss. And all this crap. Do you worry about that?
Yeah, I do. And so, you always have to have the disclaimer, like, these results must, will vary, and, they're not typical, and, all of that type of language. And then, you can't really say like you can lose 30 pounds in, in 90 days. Or it's like you can't put that time limit on it.
Yeah.
And so because if it's not typical for everybody, like you can't say it. So on Facebook, you can't advertise before and after pictures.
Right.
So that would be awesome if you could, but you can't. So it's like a lot of times we just show the after. So you got to kind of dance around it to stay compliant. And then as you get bigger, you have a bigger target on you. So it's something to definitely consider.
Did you see that guy who did the fake doctor ads, and he was the one person AI company?
I read about that on X. Yeah. So fake doctor ads made a.
He's going to do like 1.8 billion this year, something crazy.
Wow.
Crazy.
Selling GLP-1s.
That makes sense.
And it's all AI.
Is that legal or not? Like
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. But he had like 800 ads of fake doctors and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did he get caught or like?
Well, no, the craziest part, and once again, I don't know the whole story. So, because I know he has a massive affiliate network too. So like it could have been his affiliates running it. So I don't know the whole situation, but I mean, the dude had this massive not New York Times, Forbes or something, did a massive article on him. And they're like, this is the first $1 billion AI business with one person.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
that was the whole headline. And then, it was like, wow, that's crazy. This guy built this thing. And then people started digging into it. And they're like, bro, he's got like 800 ads of fake AI doctors saying this is the best drug ever. And it's like, I'm like, bro, why'd you even put yourself on the radar?
Yeah.
Just stay quiet, bro.
You're making $1 billion and you're over here like you had to go
flex.
Yeah, you had to flex.
Yeah, he had to do it.
Yeah. So do you guys sell peptides too?
So we have a concierge medical. We give our highest tiered clients access to a concierge medical team. And so they can prescribe peptides and the other stuff, but we don't have a shop that anybody could buy.
Yeah.
Right. Like we're not trying to, we don't make any money on the price of any of the prescription.
Yeah.
If people want that level of service, they pay a different membership and then they get all of that stuff at cost. So the doctor's not incentivized to, prescribe more than they need or more than they want. So yeah.
Are you like a big peptide guy?
I mean, I have been, I've been on, different protocols over the past 3 years where like I've definitely, experimented with, all types of peptides.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that world is very interesting. I mean, they got peptides for everything. You can take a peptide to make yourself tanner. It's like, it's
What's your favorite peptide? And can I have some?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so probably people think too, they're like, if people haven't taken peptides, they think that you're going to take a peptide and just turn into the Incredible Hulk. It's like, it's not that. Like I've, like tesamorelin is a peptide that you take and it helps you secrete more growth hormone, recover faster, like you sleep better. So I've definitely noticed like taking stuff like that, you can be a little bit looser on your diet. At the end of the day, you still got to eat and train the right way.
Right.
But if I'm a little bit looser, it's like my body holds a little bit tighter. So there's definite benefits, but sometimes I go to the club and guy drinking 5 margaritas is asking me about peptides. It's like, bro, like that's not the answer.
So you got bigger
You need a
issues.
peptide to make you stop drinking the margarita. Yeah. So I mean, I think that world is fascinating.
Yeah.
I don't pretend to be a doctor. Like that's where for me, and I don't even like to
talk about it.
Yeah, I don't love to talk about it because then people's like, oh, John's taking it, must be good. I'm like, well, it's good for me. I'm make sure I don't want to inject anything in my body that a doctor that I trust with, like, I don't want to gamble my health on it.
100%.
And so it's like, I'm going to make sure that they think it's a good idea and I trust them. And then I don't want someone looking at my Instagram and me injecting, 5 different peptides and being like, I'm going to go get that stuff.
Get the same stack.
I just don't like that. Yeah.
What's your favorite peptide?
It's hard to say because usually when I do it, there's like a combo of different things. So I'm like, I don't really know which ones.
You're testing 5 at the same time.
Yeah. Like,
one of them's working.
Yeah. I like the total result, but like, it's hard for me to say what's actually happening with each one.
Like you guys are younger, right? Like for me, I've never done any anabolics and I've gone on testosterone for a 10-month period, but I've always stayed off of testosterone because we've wanted to have more kids.
Yeah.
Right. And so we got to this point, my wife's like, we're done with that. So I'm like, okay, like I'm 40 at the time I was 40 years old. free testosterone was 3.
Mhm.
Got my blood work. And I'm like,
Mm.
I eat good. Like, I'm in the fitness industry. I work out. My free testosterone is 3.
Why?
Is like, it was, I mean, environmental stress, running a
getting older.
business, just,
Mm.
just on a decline. And I'm just used to like, I'll grind through it. Like, it
Yeah.
wasn't like I was like, oh, I'm like so tired through the day. Doctor's like, we're going to put you on this. I'm like, okay, dude, like, that's like a light switch. You take your free testosterone from 3 to, in the, like, call it 25. You feel like a different man.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like at 40, like I did at 25.
Yeah.
And so for 10 months, I was like, just microdose, taking just microdose essentially 6 days a week. And then, wife's like, kind of want to have another baby. So shutting it off,
Mm.
that's not fun. So it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. Don't recommend that for anybody. It's like
Yeah.
if that's something where, blood work says that it could be beneficial and you're in your 40s and you want to go on HRT, it's like that stuff you can notice immediately. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much, the first 30 days you're going to notice. Where the peptide game, like, you could take tesamorelin and kind of notice or think you notice, it's still not that. And so I think
Okay.
sometimes, there's a contrast where people's like, if you take creatine, it's like, does it work? Does it not
Yeah,
work?
I agree.
Right? It's like
Yeah.
nobody's,
Yeah.
you can't really feel it. Like, nobody's going to feel it.
Yeah.
Peptides, you can feel, you start to feel, but it takes a lot longer for it to start to ramp up.
Got it.
HRT, if you're in your 40s, 50s, like that stuff, noticeable right out
Yeah.
the gate.
I've done TRT for a couple of years, and we've still been able to have kids. I think I've had 2
Amazing.
while I've been on
Yeah,
it.
and I'm not saying you can't.
Yeah.
We've had, that.
But I did what you did. I
Yeah.
cycled off, and it's a downer.
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
when you cycle off, you're like,
You
all right,
notice.
let's get pregnant fast.
Yeah.
Get back.
You notice, bro. You notice big time.
Yeah.
Mm.
So with where the world's going on just the marketing side of things, you're talking about how you're making a bigger push for organic now just because you want to use them in conjunction. I mean, what's the plan for the company overall? Like, how are you okay if you plateau at this level? Or are you like, we got to get to 100 million?
Yeah. So, like, because we grew so fast and it was 326.50, I was like, we're going to 100.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to 100.
We double every year.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
we do.
That's just normal. And what I realized, though, is when I really looked at the numbers, profitability wise at 26 was not much different than 50.
But yeah,
Yeah.
way more headaches.
Yeah, way more headaches. Way more headaches. And so
Yeah.
I learned, like, people taught me this. Like, I'm not dumb. And I've listened to business owners talk about the same thing for a lot of time.
Forever. Yeah.
But I'm kind of the person that has to touch the hot stove to learn sometimes. And so I now know that, like, I don't care about hitting 100 million for 100 million sake. Like, I just don't.
Mhm.
Like, I feel like my ambition is not there anymore.
Yeah.
I want a certain amount of profit and a certain lifestyle, and I want to stack cash and use that money to, make money on its own, because I ultimately value security and freedom more than the money.
Mhm.
And coming from not having money to, experiencing that massive growth, I went through this phase of like, oh, I'm going to more. Eventually, who knows, we can sell this thing for X amount of dollars, to really kind of reframing this year and being a little bit more sustainable,
Mhm.
because we're finally, kind of in a good way off that. I love the hockey stick growth, but we didn't even have time to like think it was going so fast. So now I'm going to optimize for profitability, lifestyle, impact. And, I really enjoy doing this business. So it's harder now, to your point, with the marketing and stuff. So that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Mm.
So do you think you'll ever want to try and sell it, or you're like, hey, it's just going to spit off cash and let's just rip?
I'm definitely open. I'm definitely open to whatever road. I mean, I think that if we run a very profitable business, and I prove that, I don't have to run face, and
Yeah,
I
it's
could
not-
run, you know
yeah.
what I mean? I think that would be something that I want to build it for sure.
Yeah. Do you think he's talked about this for himself, but like, when you grow up without a lot sometimes, and then you've lost it all before, like you kind of like live with scarcity and fear that it could happen again.
Yeah.
And I heard you talk about that, like, oh man, I only got 10 months. This is how I'm looking at it. And like
Yeah.
I just watching it go down. And then do you think you have that still?
I think that, yeah, I do. I think that I do, and I think that I know that I'll be fine either way, but at this point, for me, I have so much skill set, mindset, and stuff that's been built. It's like, even if the worst of the worst happens, it's like you're still gonna be able to rebuild the empire,
Right.
right? Like, it's like you can't take the stuff that it took to get to this point completely away, and
Mhm.
we've all known people who have had, just epic, amount of money, lost it all, and rebuilt it all again. It's
Right.
like, I think that there's a skill set, a mindset, and stuff that's kind of intangible that some people have to get to that point to where they're always gonna be fine.
Mhm.
Mm, that makes sense. So I guess at this point too, like what do you see as the future for um how you plan to build differently to get more profitable and all that other stuff?
Yeah, we put together like a really epic affiliate offer because
Yeah.
I notice a lot of people in the marketplace, they love to talk about fitness. People trust them on the fitness. Building a fitness company is something that is very, very difficult. We talked about that earlier. And so certain partnerships, I think, can definitely be lucrative win-win for people who, want to have fitness as something that they are known for, but
Yeah.
not necessarily want to fulfill it. We
Yeah.
can fulfill it. So I think that really pushing on that affiliate button is going to be huge for us. Continuing to dial in the paid stuff, obviously, just continue to get better and better at that. And really hammer down. I mean, we have 4,000 members all over the United States, so it's like we get a lot of referrals too. So I think that, it like any business, it's like you need new acquisition. What other fishing poles can we have out there with fishing lines in the lake to
Mhm.
bring other people in? We've only been direct response, so it's like now I think that affiliate play is gonna be pretty big for us.
That's funny. That's literally
Yeah.
what I
What you're
just
doing.
did for M19. So we had a big network marketer on the podcast, and he's just talking about how they went from 0 to, like 400 million in
Mm,
just a couple of years just through network marketing. And I'm
wow.
just like, what the heck, dude?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
these freaking and you spend no money on ads. Like
Yeah.
these people just do it all for you.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's crazy because we just are so used to spending money, hoping for a return.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then like if you don't get a return, you're screwed. And these guys are just like, yeah, go work for me. And then if you close, then you get paid.
Yep.
Mm.
And I've just never been good at getting people to affiliate or refer because I just don't like ask for it
Yeah.
and push for it. So, anyways, after his podcast, I was like, I'm creating our own freaking affiliate pro. I'm
Yeah.
tired of this and I'm gonna like build ambassadors and all
Exactly.
this stuff. And so on the golf side, I'm like, dude, I'm going after the caddies, the pro shop, all these people who are around my ideal customer, anyways.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give them $2,000. Just if they send somebody over,
Yeah.
you get $2,000.
Yeah. Mine's 3,500. So,
There we go.
there we
Even
go.
higher.
Yeah. And so I think that, also I was considering that all of, our 3,500 members, 4,000 members, they're all ambassadors in the way that
Yeah.
they've transformed their body. And
Yep.
so in the past, we used to give $500 for a referral.
Right.
It's like,
It's not nobody's getting excited.
nobody's excited about that. And it's like, how much are we paying Meta to get a new customer?
Yeah.
How can we make, if somebody, tells their friend about this, how can we give them a check that's like, oh, like that's, go buy a
Mhm.
Louis Vuitton bag, like do whatever you want. Like it's,
Yeah.
it's a substantial amount of money as a token of our appreciation, but also some people will take that farther and refer 10 people,
Right.
that we got. So that's been a big push for us in the last couple
Yeah,
months
somebody
too,
makes
because
35
rethought.
grand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that's how I looked at it. Our
Yeah.
CAC was $2,000. And I said,
Yeah.
well, I don't care who I give it. I'd rather give it to somebody I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're is a mastermind for golf. You guys
Yeah.
do monthly golf trips.
Yeah. So basically, the way our model works as it stands today is it's a little bit different than most masterminds because most masterminds are, 30 grand, 50 grand, whatever the number is. Ours is just an initiation fee and then yearly dues.
Mm.
And then they pay per event they want to attend.
Okay.
Because in golf, we can't even have hundreds of people.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this trip only has 20 slots, 30 slots, 40
Got
slots.
it.
But we go on these trips every month. So yeah, like as it stands right now filming, it's 10 grand to join in year one, $5,000 a year to renew. So super cheap.
Yeah.
And they get access to the network, the online stuff. They can go play rounds with each other all
Amazing.
across the country. Like we have a ton of Phoenix members. So like they play locally. And then each trip on average is like $5,000. And it includes, 3 rounds of golf at whatever spot we're at. Like we're going to Coeur d'Alene next week.
Amazing.
And then, the hotel, the food, the drink, it's all included. And so it's like they always feel like they got value because whatever, they just go on as many as they want.
So good. Do you ever do like an event where you bring everybody together?
So this is the first full year.
Okay.
But we're going to have like our championship.
Nice.
But it's hard to bring everyone together because you just can't do it in golf.
Yeah.
Like there's only so many tee times. Like the max is really 72.
Yeah, I meant like an event outside of golf,
Like a seminar?
where it's like bring everybody without golf, but
We might, but it seems like just that demographics, like
they just want to.
yeah,
play
we
golf.
want to play golf and
Yeah.
like hang out.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
because that's kind of been the selling point too. I'm like, most masterminds, you sit in a classroom or a thing, and 9 hours, you see speakers, and we do that for real estate.
yeah,
And I'm like, this mastermind, we go outdoors, we play around,
Yeah.
we hang out. There are no speakers.
yeah.
Like it's a true
They just want to have
mastermind.
fun. Yeah, that's why we have a group too that's like our top level group. We call it Elite, and
Okay.
so we do 3 quarterly fly-ins.
Okay.
And these guys are all business owners. They're all founders, right? And so they also don't want to come and just learn about business. They're already
doing
I'm
great.
speaking. They got Richard Mills on the wrist. Like they don't. They don't necessarily need me to teach them how to do business. Some of them want some more business stuff, but it's like we'll bring a couple speakers in. Like we brought Ray Lewis in, which is more of an experiential speaker. It's like it's not like us teaching you how to do lead gen or sales or anything like that. But what I realized is like they just love they love experience, and they know that the group is so high quality. It's almost like and nobody's really pitching other business. People do business deals, naturally.
Yeah.
But it's like we throw some epic parties, like networking parties where everybody's just having fun. And I realize that demographic really appreciates that because they work really hard, right?
Yep.
And they like experience more than they're going to sit and learn how to do business. I believe if I got my right client, they don't need me to teach them how to do business better.
Yeah.
They want the experience.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's what, like on the real estate side, we did all the big seminars, 1,000 people and teaching from step 1, how to do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
And
those people want that.
They want that because they're trying to learn.
Want to make money.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's 2 different things. Yeah.
It's perfect for them. And then, on the golf side, our average client does $10 million a year in their business revenue.
Amazing.
And I mean, we got hundreds.
Yeah.
And like, dude, there's people at 9 figures. We got people doing $1 billion in sales.
Yeah.
Because golf is like the most high-end thing business people do.
Yeah.
And they're just like, bro, I'm doing this to like get away.
Yeah.
And like hang out with other guys.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about, just like we'll talk about whatever we're gonna talk about.
Yep.
Like we just want to be around guys who get it.
Yeah. That's good, man. That's like a virtual country club.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
exactly what it
great
is.
idea.
Yeah. So with community building, right? Like community building has been like a big part of anything online.
Yeah.
I've kind of had this thought in my mind, at least in regards to fitness. It's like, does community matter as much in fitness? Because it's like, I'm coming in and I'm trying to just get jacked, dude.
Yeah.
Like if I hired a coach, I'm like, I don't really need to hang out with other people.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get jacked.
Yeah.
How is it for you guys? Because you've created a great community.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's the most, again, like our ICP, like that's the mindset, right? Like I'm paying you. I got my own friends. Like I just want to get ripped. I want to solve this problem. So we treat them like that. And
that's how I am.
Yeah. Yeah. We treat them like that. We have one yearly event that is, we call it SHX. Last year we had Ed Milet speak and a couple other guys had Urban Meyer come and speak. And so, it's not we had probably 600 of our members come out. Again, we had over 3,000.
Have out of thousands.
Yeah. But the people who come out and experience the other people in the group, it's something special. And so then those people can't wait for the next, the next things. And like I said, we do have that elite group where 3 times a year they get together. And guys who've experienced it, they continue to come back every 3 months. They've created friends that will last a lifetime, and it's been a really special thing, but a lot of people, they don't care. They just want the product to do
They
what it
wanna
was
get
promised.
jacked.
They wanna get jacked. Yeah.
It's just like a value
Yeah,
add to those
exactly.
who actually do want it.
Yeah.
That
And
makes
so,
sense.
if they come to an event, the longevity of them staying in the program is obviously
Yeah.
way longer
Yeah, how
because
do you keep churn down? Because like, you get them a result,
yeah.
and then it's like, "Cool, you achieved it."
Yeah. Yeah. For us, I mean, I talk about right from the beginning, and our coaches like, in the onboarding were like, look, depending on where you start from, like we can do a lot of great work in 6 months. People sign up for a year. But I'm like, if you want to be like elite, like walk around in the top 1%, a lot of these guys, unless they came from a sporting background and were in shape in the past, some of these guys haven't seen a gym in 10 years, right?
Wow.
And so we continue to show them what's possible in like a 3-year journey. And a lot of people buy into that. But at the end of the day, our retention is 30-40% will stay for a year or two.
Right.
And so I think that we can get even better with that, with a little bit more stickiness. We've invested millions of dollars into our own tech platform that will essentially kind of gamify it and just have a better user experience. So we believe that that's going to add some stickiness to the longevity of the client. But yeah, some people come in, they get the result, they say, thank you, and
Yeah.
they're on their way. I just continue to talk about being elite and being 1% and, not settling for good enough. And as much as I can push that message and get people to buy in, I truly believe like I still use one of our coaches.
Yeah.
And so there's also the idea that even though I'm a strength and conditioning coach since 2010, have been a professional athlete, I don't walk into the gym anymore and guess what I'm going to do. Nor do I want to sit there on a spreadsheet and map out my programming for the
Yeah.
next 12 months. So a lot of these guys think of it like an insurance policy on their own success. It's
Mhm.
like I don't even want to go into the gym and not have a program laid out to where I don't have to think. I just follow it, I check in, and that's just a part of their life. And so a lot of people treat it like that. And that's ultimately what I want as a business owner is like, these guys make tons of money. This is actually a very small expense to actually take care of their biggest asset that they have,
Mhm.
which is their body. So why not continue to just make sure that you're not going to slide backwards?
Mm.
Because they will learn exactly what to do, how to eat, and whatnot. But it's inconvenient for a lot of these guys to get out of the program and then have to program their own workouts. Like
It's a pain in the butt.
they
Yeah.
like walking into the gym and being like, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Here's my rest. Here's my sets. Here's my reps. Here's how to do the thing. And then I'm out. And it's
Yeah.
very convenient. And so a lot of people stay for that.
Yeah.
Have you
How-
tried other offers before?
What kind?
Like just something besides fitness?
No, we've just doubled, tripled, quadrupled down on fitness.
Nice.
Yeah. We have the fitness. The only other offer it would be like the ascension into the concierge medical,
Mhm.
and then the elite group, which is a 3 quarterly events a year. That's
Got it.
kind of our roadmap.
Why would somebody join the elite group? Is it really then that becomes about like the networking and stuff?
That's more about the network and experience.
Right.
And so this next elite that we're doing in August, like, some of the guys we've rented, 15 or 20 Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Porsches. We're going to take a 4-hour road trip, together on, a scenic road in Arizona. We do fun stuff like that to where I think that people just like to connect and,
Mm.
that program's 35 grand a year.
Yeah.
And people are, they're all in shape. They can listen to a speaker like Ray Lewis or someone else will bring
Yeah.
in. And also when they fly in, we fly out our coaches. And so that we rent out a gym and then they train them in the morning in person so that like some people want to know what real intensity feels like because
Right.
you can do the program, lose 50 pounds, do exactly what you see on the app. But there's a difference than when they come and get with an elite coach that shows them what the intensity really is.
Yeah.
They learn that one time, they go back and their training is on another level.
Yeah. I was thinking about these big fitness things that have come and gone. For example, like CrossFit was the thing
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
a decade or
Yep.
whatever. And now you got High Rocks like taking it over. And I'm like, man, how do you create that? That seems like a crazy cool thing.
Yeah. Yeah, on our renewals, we call it transform. And so when someone renews, I realize general pop wants nuance. They want novelty.
Yeah,
And
they always
so
want the next big
yeah,
thing.
like I'm a meathead. Like I can do essentially the same 20 movements for 20 years and
Yeah.
eat relatively the same thing. Like I just care about that like
Yeah.
that. Most people are not like that. So they'll get fit and then they'll be like, what else do I want to do? Like I want to run a marathon or I want to do an Ironman or I want to like they like to push themselves in different ways.
Mhm.
And so now we've created kind of a pathway program when someone graduates. Like we have a pathway that would take them, you know, if they wanted to get photo shoot ready, just completely dialed in. Body aesthetics is like what they want to go for. Like we're going to focus on that alone for a year. We have an what we call a hybrid, which is like the high rocks. So
Mhm.
some people will want to do high rocks. We'll get them ready to go compete and do
Mm.
well in a high rocks.
Wow.
They want to take on another challenge. Some people want to train like an athlete, do more strength and conditioning stuff. So we'll get them doing more explosive stuff and they feel like they're training for athletic purposes
Yeah.
and performance, not necessarily just body composition. So I've realized over the years that people want novelty. They want to check this box and then go to another box. So we provide that. So
Yeah.
really specialized type of training.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, let's get you in shape, and now let's kind of specialize.
Yeah.
Now that you are in shape.
Yep.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm with you. I've done the same strength and conditioning stuff for 20 years. Like I just do Olympic lifts and
Yeah.
freaking just lift heavy and short volume and just rip, dude. And
Yeah.
just try to hit bombs on the golf course. That's all I care about. It's literally all I care
Yeah.
about.
That's how you know it's working, right?
Yeah, it's like as long as I'm hitting at 350,
Yeah, bang.
we're good.
Bang, bro. That's awesome.
So I've seen you recently on Instagram kind of like changing your content and demeanor, talking about just different things and like evolution of like you're talking about selling your Ferrari, then you were talking about faith and all these things. Like what's been going on sparking this?
Yeah, yeah. So we closed out the year, hit 50 million on New Year's Eve, like was the biggest day we've ever had. So it's like we were, you know, it was like, wow, it was a big deal. And then after that, like there was some stuff that shifted. Like we went into sales funk, marketing got into a kind of funk. There was another thing that happened, and it was like things for the first time in 36 months kind of started going sideways.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, like it felt like we kind of got punched in the mouth a little bit, got put back on our heels, all good. Like we had, you know, nonstop winning for 3 years. And just was a tough season in business. Going way back, I grew up in Salt Lake City. I had a bunch of Mormon friends. I was like the non-Mormon kid who, you know, felt like there was some judgment in like, you know,
Yeah.
I had great Mormon friends, but they'd want me to, you know, they were always pursuing me to convert to Mormonism. Cousins, Mormon, missions, all
How'd
this
you even
stuff.
end up in Utah and not a Mormon?
So my immediate family was not Mormon. All my cousins were Mormon, right? So it was like for whatever reason, like my parents were not. And so anyways, like religion for me was like, I'm not about it.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like not about it. And I never read the Bible, didn't have a relationship with God. I believe that there was a creator that created all of this, but that was about as far as my belief went. And one day I was in the gym and we had been trying to have our second kid, doing IVF, spending as much money as we could to solve the problem. And I had this just this word hit me. It's like, you've tried everything, but you haven't given it to me. I was like, whoa, bro, like where did that come from? And it shook me. Like I had it, like I'm in the squat rack, I have a tear kind of stream down my face. I take the weights off. I'm like, I can't lift anymore, bro. Like I gotta walk out of this gym. This shook me. It was a gym called Glory Gains in Scottsdale. And dude's a believer. For whatever reason, I got that word. And I
Holy
went
Spirit, glory gains.
and I went, I went home and I was like, told my wife, and I'm like, I want to go to church on Sunday. It's the first time I've ever walked into a church. Like,
how long ago was this?
This was 30. So this is probably 4 years ago, right before business took off.
Yeah.
So walk into a church. We start going to church every Sunday.
What church was it out there?
Impact Church.
Yeah, with Travis.
Yeah. Loved his.
He's been on.
Loved his messaging, by the way. And I kind of made this deal with God. I joined a Christian mastermind. Pete Vargas had it. And so
Wellspring.
I was around a bunch of Christian entrepreneurs. And it was weird for me though, because it's like the only other church experience I ever had was go into a Mormon church with one of my friends when I was a kid. It's like, you don't clap and you don't stand, and like it's like a piano. It's very weird. Yeah. It's like now like I'm in this mastermind with a bunch of Christian entrepreneurs, and they're worshiping, bro. Like they're, you know, there was a moment they were speaking in tongues.
Yeah.
And I was like, what in the world is going on, bro?
What the
And
pig
so
is this?
and so I make a deal with God. I said, God, if you give me this baby, I'll be the biggest testimony ever, because like I'm not believed to believe.
Yeah.
And you know, we didn't get the baby. And
Yeah.
so through that all, like I kind of lost faith. I'm like, I don't understand. You know, people are aborting kids, or people are on drugs having kids. Like, why are me and my wife, like, we're very capable of raising another child? I don't understand. And and after like 18 months to 2 years of really pursuing God and like really trying to like walk with them or even understand what that meant, I read the Bible for the first time, front to back, like all of it. And then I was like, okay, well, I don't know. I don't know about this. And so I kind of turned my back on God. Business started to explode. I take all the credit. Like, I'm the man. I came from nothing. So it's like now I'm like buying Ferraris, and I bought 14 different cars. You know what I mean? Like trading them in and out, like
Nice.
Porsche, Ferrari, G-Wagons, all of this stuff. And I I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, we're winning anyways. This is all me. And then I realized, like, when things went sideways, I was like, whoa, bro, I think God can kind of turn it on and turn it off. This might not have been all me. It's not just a marketing message that, I don't know why it worked. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of, I don't know why it worked. I
don't even know why you got the inspiration to do it.
Exactly. And so I'm sitting there one day and like, just really, frustrated. And I see the Bible and I'm like, do I really believe in God? Like, that thought popped in my mind. I'm like, I don't know if I believe that someone created this. I don't know if God is really worried about my life. He's got a lot of other stuff going on. So maybe he created this, and it's like anything that happens is kind of like free will, and God's not interested in my life. And I get this really weird text message from one of my good buddies who I hadn't talked to in a long time. And he screenshots something and says something so far out of it's just like the weirdest text message. And it was like God was speaking to me through him. And I was like, it shook me. And then I open up Instagram. There's somebody I didn't know who's in the program and writes me this long message. And it was like God was speaking through those messages. So I'm sitting there on the couch. I look at the Bible. I open it up. My favorite book in it is Hebrews. And I like the faith. I like that book because it's on faith. And one of the first things I see is today. It says, today, when you hear my voice, don't harden your heart. And I was like, I just started crying, bro. Like, I was like, that's exactly what I did. Yeah. Because when I went to the marketplace, all these people hated me. They were talking crap, and I went straight villain mode. Yeah. I'm like, you hate me, I'll hate you back. And I bought all the cars, and every car I bought was not even because I liked the car. It was like an FU to everybody I don't even know these people, but it
I feel that.
Yeah.
It hardened my heart. It really did. And then I became this guy. I'm like, that's not even really who I am to the people that know me. And that's essentially what that guy was saying in that text message. And he reached out the next day. Like, when I told him this story, he's like, bro, like, I was in the middle of this golf tournament, and I was like, I got to text this thing to John. And I'm like, bro, like, it was crazy. And so anyways, like, that happened like 4 or 5 weeks, I think it was like May 14th or something. And I just like, it restored my faith in a way that's kind of unexplainable. And then I'm like, we hadn't been to church, and we hadn't been back to Impact for like 2 years. And we went back, and was like, God was speaking to me. And I've just been I feel the presence again for the first time. And I realized my mistake is like trying to make a deal with God. Like, maybe the baby thing is just not for me to understand.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's kind of the faith journey, just giving people the background of like, not having any religious upbringing at all. So like, everything I've learned has been like there's been nothing taught from the time I was a kid. So yeah, still learning, man. Still learning. Dude, and I'm very open.
Yeah. That's an amazing story.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I know I know all those people,
Yeah.
that have been kind of pouring into you in different
Yeah.
ways.
And it's been cool because people have so many messages. I decided, like, to your point on Instagram, like, that was none of my content.
Yeah.
None of it, and so, like, I felt that, and I'm like, I got 5 cars, and I got a 3-car garage, and my daughter said to me, "Daddy, you lied to me. You said we were gonna get a golf cart because we got a, beautiful gated neighborhood, and kids, like, roll around in
Yeah.
these golf carts." And I'm like, "Well, we have nowhere to put it because
Yeah.
I got a Ghost that I don't drive. I got a Ferrari that I love, like, that was the car that I loved, and then I got a Lamborghini also that, like, there's 2 people in this house that can drive, and I got 5 cars, and most of them just sit there." And I'm like, whether, for me, I'm like, I have to almost the word I kept getting was humility.
Mm.
And so, like, I felt like humility had left my body for 3 years, and I became arrogant, and I'm like, "That's not really who I am." And, I'm like, I'm gonna out of humility, I sold 3 of those cars. We got the golf cart. It's on its way. Like, we're gonna have the G-Wagon, the 911, and the golf cart,
Yeah.
And so I felt like there was a shift and a softening
Mhm.
that I can't explain. And so I'm like, I like how it feels though. So
Your daughter's gonna love it.
Yeah.
We take our kids on the golf cart.
Yeah.
They just freaking
Got the
love it.
sound system,
Yeah.
It's gonna be cool, man.
Did
Yeah.
you watch Alex Hormozi talk about his faith journey with Georgienko?
I didn't, bro.
You
Like,
should watch it. It's
yeah.
really good.
I mean,
It's very fascinating.
the
I didn't watch it either.
You should watch it. There's a timestamp so you can cut straight to it. But
Does-
he used to be Christian, and he was so Christian that he wouldn't take his shirt off because he didn't want other people to feel bad. So like he was like super Christian at some point. Like he would make sandwiches and then on his way to work, like pass it out to the homeless. And I guess he struggled with like, it's rather you like really believe and all of your actions need to reflect that if you truly believe Jesus is God, or like you kind of believe and then it starts to like fall apart.
Yeah.
And he was just like, I don't know if I just like fully believe, but he was like I would say a true Christian for like, I think like 2 years.
Yeah, I've heard that. From somebody I know. They told me that, but I mean, from all of his content, like he essentially didn't really believe in anything for a
Yeah.
minute, right?
Yeah.
Believed in being productive.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
dark in
Yeah.
a way, but
And then
it's very dark.
you should
Yeah.
watch it because it's very fascinating too. Because he takes apart like the workspace, like salvation approach. Because he's like, if it's workspace, I'll never be able to do enough.
Yeah.
So Jesus had to make sense. So he was like between Buddhism and like Christianity, and then he was just like the messaging of Christianity is the only one that made sense. So then he became Christian, and then.
yeah, wow.
And then like lost his faith. But it's very, very, very fascinating. I think he's gonna end up being a believer. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Most Christians are probably gonna say that.
Yeah. I won't say it on here. But I've heard just different things like behind the scenes, even like early in his faith journey when he was like at the churches that he was going to and everything else.
Yeah.
Like I've heard different things.
And his mom was a believer.
Yeah, and I think now that they're pregnant and stuff too, because they had an IVF journey
Yeah.
too. Like it's just, man, like it's easy to be mad at God when things aren't going your way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you feel like God promised you something,
Yeah.
or you made a deal
Yeah.
that he didn't accept. He's like,
yeah.
It's like,
He's like,
you're
"That's
not
all
making
right,
a deal,
dude."
bro.
yeah, like I didn't agree to that.
Yeah.
You made the offer.
Yeah.
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 But yeah. I mean, because it's funny. I remember the first podcast we ever did. It was like 4 years ago, and I was asking him about like these kind of nihilistic views. I was like, "That's pretty dark, dude. Like, I don't think that." Like, it was like very. I don't want to say it was awkward, but I was like, "Yeah, how do you even have any optimism in life
Yeah.
if like that's the viewpoint?"
Yeah.
like
I mean,
it's
his thing
just
on
it's all
Tony
meaningless.
Robbins was F happiness.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. It's
Did you watch that
yeah,
one?
Yeah, that was one.
That was a
That was good.
fascinating
That was so
podcast
good.
too. And they took it down for some
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah. But I think, for me anyways, the reason I reached out to you too was, I didn't even know you knew Pete and Travis and those guys, but, I'd seen the ads and everything else and all the stuff. I'm like, this guy's killing it. And then, I saw, for whatever reason, that post came up on my feed, and I don't even know if I was following you, but I know the ads, and I was like, wow, that's fascinating. He's like talking about this moment. And I was like, man, that's cool. Like, I'm going to follow. And kind of see how it progresses.
Yeah.
And then I saw, you know, literally like a week later, you were on Cole's podcast, Cole Taylor or Cole Gordon.
Yeah.
And I was just like, huh, like I think I need to reach out to him.
Yeah.
And then, you know, here we are.
Yeah, I'm glad
Is
you
Cole a
did, man.
believer?
Thank you.
Cole Gordon?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never talked to Cole about it.
Got it.
And yeah, I mean, I don't know what happens, but I was like, I'm going to reach out to him because he's like clearly like at a, not a crossroads, but like a new point
Yeah.
that's like going to, you know, accelerate for the kingdom, or maybe it, you know, it's kind of like in the Bible they talk about the seed that was sown, and then it's like there's some seed that grows really fast, and then the fire gets it and it goes away.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that could be Alex.
And that happened to me the first time
Yeah.
in the wellspring stuff.
Yeah,
where
it's
it
like,
was
dude, I'm on fire,
yeah.
and then it's just
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
And what the Bible says is like, it's because you get so caught up in the worldly desires
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
it just doesn't stick. And then some seed falls on rocks and never grows.
Yeah.
Some seed goes on good soil, and
Yeah.
like you see it
Yeah.
only over time.
And
What-
for me, it's big too to have people who do because the one other thing that I mentioned in one of the videos is like I feel like I'm so ambitious, right?
Yeah.
Like I am ambitious. Like I like success. I've always wanted to be somebody, and so you know to have believers who've been successful that have walked that path and kind of worked that out is different than going into a church and just listening to a preacher who might have been perfect his whole life and doesn't care about making any money or anything. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I don't want to feel like I'm wrong for wanting success. And so, you know, having people like you reach out, and I had so many people leave voice notes and send me, it's been really cool. Been
Yeah.
very cool. So thank you.
Yeah. And I think, you know, I think a lot of Christian, especially entrepreneurs, struggle with ambition because it's like, man, am I chasing riches and
Yeah.
greed and, you know, whatever else? And like, so we have a nonprofit called Tent Makers. So we've launched like hundreds of Bible studies all over the world. They meet every week,
Wow.
and we do
You
Christian
should
events.
launch one, bro.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
awesome.
Are you in?
Or- well,
Yeah.
we'll,
He backed. No, he
Yeah.
backed me up. He's in.
we'll get him in one
Yeah.
first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or he's a leader, bro. He could do it.
Yeah, I know he could. So, but we do that and events and mission trips and stuff. But whenever I like preach and teach, I'm always like, hey guys, look, you know, God built you the way you are for a reason. I have a desire to be the best. I'm a competitor, dude. Like I want to be the absolute best. I want to make the most of my talent. I want to see what the absolute best I can be is. And there's nothing wrong with that. I was texting these guys. I was reading Daniel a couple of days ago, and in Daniel 6, he talks about Daniel was given the spirit of excellence.
Mm.
And with that spirit of excellence, he rose above all of the governors and politicians, and he was number 2, you know, to was it Nebuchadnezzar? I can't remember. It's one of the guys, but it was like this guy oversaw everybody. And he was in Babylon where there was no faith. It was all pagan. And yet because of his excellence, everybody respected him. But they also wanted to take him down because of just, they're like, dude, why is this guy, you know, so good at what he does? Why does, you know, the king always want to ask him for advice and all this stuff? And it's like, you know, God gives us talent and abilities. And it's like the parable of the talents talks about this. And we're all going to be judged based on how well we use the talents and abilities he's given us. And so it's like, if you have the talent and ability to go change lives, make a bunch of money, serve people, lead, all this stuff, you're not called to go and just do nothing with it.
Yeah.
Like you're called to make the most of it and then, you know, make an impact with it for the kingdom, however that is. And it's like, man, if we lead our community to Jesus, if we give generously, if we, you know, are a light to other people, if we share our testimony of like, dude, this happened in my life. I don't even know what it means, but
Yeah.
you know, this is just what happened.
Yeah.
And it's like, you didn't have to share that.
Yeah. I almost didn't. I was like,
Yeah.
should I? I'm like, I've never talked about anything like this. Like, I'm not, but I'm like, I was compelled. I'm like, no, like hit send, whatever happens.
And that's literally all obedience is.
Yeah.
It's like, do I share this or not? Do I go and help this person or not? Do I give this or
Yeah.
not? And it's like, obedience is just a daily choice on whether or not you're going to do the things he's calling you to do.
Yeah. I mean, in not having this understanding, but even going back to that story of the basketball coach being like, you can't play basketball here. And it's like, go play football. You haven't played in 3 years.
Yeah.
Like there was that was, from my understanding back then, it was like, oh, what a great idea that was. That was a great idea that I just had.
Yeah.
But looking back, it's like, no, man, that I was obedient to the direction. Like
Yeah.
it didn't even make sense. Like, what's the percentage of NFL players that ever play without playing high school football? Like 0.
Makes no sense.
Like doesn't make sense. But I just followed it. And so I look back at a lot of my life and it's like, no, God was always there.
Yeah.
I just didn't know,
Yeah. Yeah. I look back a lot of times in my life and I grew up a believer and still even as a believer, just so ignorant to the things he was doing, and I'm like, why didn't baseball, I'm sure you wondered, why didn't the NFL work out for me?
Yeah.
Like why?
I want Super Bowls. I want,
Yeah.
I want
And I'm
Hall
like,
of Fame.
I played in the minor leagues for 8 years, never made the
Wow.
big leagues, just grinded it out, making $1,200 a month.
Wow.
And I'm like, bro, God, why is this not working?
Yeah.
I'm doing all the right things. And by the way, I made a deal with God, my own deal. I'm like, dude, I'm not sleeping around. I'm not partying. I'm not cussing. I'm like the Tim Tebow out here in the minor leagues. And yet, all these other guys who are, doing crazy things and they're just the ones succeeding. Why am I not succeeding? If you make me succeed, I'll glorify you in the big leagues.
Yeah.
In the big leagues, I'll be on TV. I'll talk about it. I'll wear an eye patch.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever. And it's like, no, that's not how this works. And then, you see later on, and it's like, I hated real estate. I still don't even like real estate. Like I don't.
I hate real estate.
I don't hate it, but by no means have I ever really liked it.
Yeah.
But I just remember, like, for whatever reason, God put me in real estate while I was playing just to make some money. And then all of a sudden, he takes away baseball and real estate ends up being the thing that, helps not just my family and my life, but then change other people's lives and have influence and impact and meet guys like him who then get saved. And it's like, it's all because of this real estate thing. I for sure was not picking this real estate thing, And then even with social media, I remember we were during COVID and kind of like your gym shut down. I had 50 house flips going on. And I'm like, bro, am I about to go under? Like they're saying this market's going to crash. I got like $20 million of hard money loans out. My payments are like $200,000 a month. How am I gonna, what if the market turns and they don't sell? And I remember God was like, I was praying and then multiple people reached out to me and they were like, you should do social media. Have you ever thought about that? And I was like, huh? They're like, you should do TikTok. And I'm like, why? How's TikTok going to help me in my situation right now?
Yeah.
And literally 3 people told me to do social media in the span of like 24 hours. And I was like, okay, God, what, why?
Yeah.
And there was no why. It was just like, I've told you what to do. Just do it. And then so I'm like, all right, guys, I'm on TikTok. I don't know what I'm doing. And then it just rips.
Wow.
And, here we are. And I still don't even like social media that much.
Yeah.
And I still don't like speaking on stage. But like, here we are.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that, man. Like me too. Like I don't like the camera.
Yeah.
Like I'm like,
you make all these ads.
Yeah. And I'm like, it's a means to an end. Like, why do I got to do this? Yeah. Same.
Yeah. And so it's like, but then it, now I see the plan. It's like, oh, that's why baseball didn't work out.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I did real estate.
Yeah.
I get it. Oh, that's why I did social media. Now I get it. And it's like, I have no clue where it's going to go.
Yeah.
I have no clue. I'm like, so like unattached to my identity in business. It's like, I've done real estate. I've done baseball. I'm doing golf. I've done all these different things. I'm like, whatever you want me to do, like, I'm down for whatever.
Obedience, man. That's great.
Yeah. Well, bro, it's been great hanging with you.
Yeah.
Getting to meet you in person and just hearing about the journey. If somebody wants to be a part of Superhuman, where do they go?
Yeah, I just sent them to suprahuman.com. That's probably the best place. I'm most active on social on Instagram. Suprahuman_John Madsen. If you just type it up, you can find me there.
Yeah. Cool. So guys, we'll link to that down below. Go check them out. If you want to get jacked, no promises, but what is the guarantee? If
you get ripped or you don't pay. And
There we
so,
go.
yeah, we abide by that too. So.
Yeah. So if you want to get ripped, go check them out. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.